Hi, I'm Martin Cooper from Harcourts, Cooper & Co Real Estate. The North Shore, what a great place to live. We live here, we love it, we believe in it. And in the current real estate market, you've chosen to market your property by auction. In this desirable location, you've chosen the most successful method to ensure that you get the best price the market can deliver. Auctioning your property is not just about turning up on the day and hoping for a good outcome. We have to follow a process. There's so much work to be done to make sure it's a success. Now, what you can expect as a seller is your salesperson will consult with you about the visual images that we place on the websites and the print media and the brochures and the ad copy, so you're happy with the marketing of your property. You should expect to hear from your agent on a daily basis. You should have a face-to-face meeting once a week, and we will give you a written report which summarises all of the activity and all of the interest in your property. Just before your auction, you'll be having a meeting. It's called a reserve set meeting. That'll be with yourselves, the auctioneer and the salesperson. And they'll be gaining a lot of information from you to help the sales process along. The auctioneer will ask you about your home, what you've loved about it, and what's great about the area. He's got to be a salesperson for your property as well. He's got to get enthusiastic about it, so he'll need that information from you so he can best represent your property to the buyers. So you need to give him as much information as you can so he can do that job for you. He will go through what will be happening at your auction. How does he get the bidding started? He'll be going through the contract with you, the possession date, all the chattels, all the details that relate to the auction, and then all the strategies around that. I feel the most important thing you'll need to have for this meeting is a firm idea of your reserve price. The auctioneer will talk to you about the reserve price, who should know it, and how it's used during the auction. You don't have to tell the auctioneer your reserve price during the meeting, but if you do, it won't affect how he auctions the property for you. He'll be working to get the best price he can beyond your expectations. Your salesperson will have been discussing with you the best location to conduct your auction. We run our auctions both on-site, at your home, or in rooms. Last year, we had over 1,200 auctions, and we had a phenomenal success rate with selling over 89%. I believe we've got the best team of auctioneers. They work full-time in the company, so they're there right from the start, right through to the sale of your property. So what we've done, if you care to stay tuned, is I've got our auctioneers answering all those frequently asked questions, gives you a better understanding of what's happening. So I wish you all the best with the sale of your property, and we look forward to getting that sold sign outside your home very, very soon. Thank you very much.
One of the most frequently asked questions is, what if nobody turns up to our auction? Well, I can assure you that doesn't happen very often. And one of the jobs of the auctioneer is that when he turns up, he'll go around the crowd and he'll introduce himself to everybody there. And what he's trying to do is find out whether he's got anyone to work with ahead of the auction. Now, if there is nobody there, well, by law, we do need to have what we call a quorum, which is a minimum of 6 people to legally call an auction. If we don't have that quorum, well then quite simply the auction cannot be called. What happens when the property sells? Well, this is the exciting part, but the immediate focus is on the buyer, and we like to take them to one side and get the paperwork, the contract signed straight away and confirm how the deposit is going to be paid. We'll then come and see you to get you to sign your side of the paperwork, and the deal is concluded. What if nobody bids? Well, because buyers are also nervous and anxious, this isn't something that they do every day of their lives. We often find that when the auctioneer asks for an opening bid, nobody wants to start. Everyone wants to wait and see what the other people at the auction are going to do. Now, to get the auction rolling, often the auctioneer may nominate a starting bid, and he might do this by placing what we call a vendor bid. Now, the vendor bid is an owner's legal right to bid at their own auction. It's legal under Section 42 of the Property Law Act. And essentially all we are doing is telling the market or telling the buyers what price the owners are not prepared to sell at and are still happy to stay the owners of the property. It's a great way to get the auction started, and most buyers we find are pretty comfortable with it. What if the reserve price is not reached? Well, there's a number of scenarios that can be played out. In the first instance, what the auctioneer will usually do is he'll pause the auction and come and see you and discuss what is happening at the auction. Then what he'll try to do is get the buyer who's got the leading bid at that stage to increase their offer up to a level whereby you are prepared to sell. Now, if he's unable to do that, he may then come and ask you whether you want to adjust your reserve price. So it's important that you've thought about what is your rock bottom, slightly grumpy selling price, but still a number that makes sense for you to sell on the day. If none of that happens and we have a gap, well then clearly the property cannot be sold and it is passed in. What is your role on the day? Well, if you're in the country, we recommend that you always attend your own auction. It's great to have you there if any last minute questions arise. The most commonly asked last minute questions from buyers are, can we vary the deposit or can we vary the settlement date? What happens to the deposit? Well, the reserve form that your auctioneer is going to ask you to sign at the auction reserve meeting asks for permission to collect a deposit in one of three ways, either by a bank cheque, a personal cheque, or by electronic transfer of funds no later than the next available working day. Now, once the deposit is collected, unless your property is a unit title, then it is held in our trust account for a mandatory 10 working days. We'll then deduct our fee and the balance will be dispersed to you.